Welcome back, yo, Bamba Klotz. Welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. That's right. We're doing it once again. It's May the 15th, Friday, 2026. Thank you for joining me once again. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you've been with me from the get-go, you know what it is. If you're tuning in from Canada, hello. Further down south, the United States of Americas, all the beautiful states further down south, the Mexicos, Viva la Raza. Right there, over there in South America, of course, Brazil, Argentina, Peru. Central America, never forget the what's in the middle, sandwich right there, over there in Africa, all the way from South Africa to Egypt, in Western Europe, Germany, Poland, Hungary, over there in Switzerland, friggin' Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Stanistan, over there in Asia, Philippines, over there in the Korea. Whichever one you like, and China, over there, and New Zealand, Australia, of course. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Let me just get a sip of this little coffee right here. Let's just ease right into it because it is Friday. It is Friday. The sun is out. You're pulsating in your pants. We're about to bust together. I don't even know what today's episode's gonna be. Well, it's gonna be extremely loose. We'll see, because we gotta keep it loose. That's the way it is. We're gonna be like the town bicycle. Everybody gets AIDS from the town bicycle. We're gonna be like the town bus. Everybody gets AIDS from the town bus. Something about rides and AIDS. Doesn't matter. The point is, we're gonna be loose today, ladies and gentlemen. Let's just start from the top. I guess I think going into it today, one of the couple of underlying themes of maybe to make a prediction at the beginning, see how it all ends, and we'll figure that out together. But underlying theme, selfishness, putting selfish ways aside. That's one thing I think it's going to be. An underlying theme is going to be self and reimagining. All right, putting away selfish behavior and then beginning to reimagine together. And we'll figure it out as we go along. So let us jump right in. So please take your clothes off and let's just jump in together. Starting with, of course, in no particular order, some of the themes are going to be interconnected, of course, but let's just get right into it. I'm talking about the Odyssey, the new movie coming out, directed by Christopher Nolan. I'm a fan of Christopher Nolan's movies. A lot of bangers. This one's catching a little bit of, people are talking about it, people are chatting about it. Apparently it's about the casting. People are a little bit concerned. Maybe. Should they be? Who knows? What's going on with the casting? We're reimagining. I think we're getting a reimagining. This is how it starts. It's a Greek tale. It's about Greek mythology. A portion of it is Greek mythology. It's got to do with beautiful Greeks or Greco. And who's being cast in the Odyssey? Who's being cast? Some of the main characters, some of your favorites. Achilles, a warrior, a strong warrior, is apparently being cast, is what I've heard. It's not 100% confirmed yet. I did look into it. It's not 100% confirmed yet, but I believe Elliot Page is being casted as Achilles. And that is, for some people, hold on a sec. Before you start, I know what you're going to say. You're like, it's a tranny. It's a 4'11" tranny, and Achilles, at least, even though it's mythology, he's depicted as a strong warrior, a Greco warrior, strong figure. He went out there and fucking, fought the fights with Agamemnon. Agamemnon. God, that's a good name. Agamemnon, that guy who's gonna fight that, and many others too. I don't know who else he fought to be. We got to revisit those mythologies, but that's for a later date. The point is that Troy, we saw the movie Troy. Brad Pitt depicted Achilles, warrior, fucking, and that was like peak Brad Pitt probably, in terms of like just human, age, just age wise, just physicality. All the men wanted to. What's that saying? They say all the men wanted to be him. All the women wanted to be. No wait. Most men wanted to. What does this say? Most men want to be him or pee him. Most men saw it him, want to pee on Brad Pitt in his peak. Most men want to pee him. Most women want to be peed on by him. I got it. Most men want to pee like him. Most men want to pee like him. Standing, good posture, a tan, fucking, sword in hand. And sword is, again, euphemism for cack, of course. So most men want to pee like him. And that was like, you looked at a man from Greco fucking mythology, and like the men fucking peed like men were supposed to pee. I'm talking standing, and if need be sitting, but like also extremely masculine ways of peeing. So most men wanted to pee like him, and most women wanted to get peed on by him, or the saying. The point is, that was, again, embedded through the writings, through the stories. You're like, okay, strong, good, he's got a good piss flow to him. He's a strong figure in Greco mythology. And now, again, times have passed. We're reimagining. And again, it's being casted this time by Elliot Page, a 3 foot 2 inch tall tranny from Hollywood. And we love everyone, but it's just, again, because we love the story. It's a little bit difficult for people to reimagine, but I'm going to try, because we don't know it. I believe it's coming out in July, and I'm not even sure if she's being cast, or I'm not sure if this tranny is being actually cast as Achilles. It might be playing another role, but if it's being recast, and if it is Achilles that this tranny's playing, Elliot Page, the one I'm talking about, the one, if anybody doesn't know, that's the one with the cut off her tits. Beautiful, poor, beautiful tits. Just, you could hear them screaming, no, don't cut us off, Paige, don't do it, no. And then people saw it on the side of the highway, just like, getting in a cab, bleeding, 2 tits. And then I believe they headed south for Mexico. That's the last we heard of those tits. But nonetheless, people are a little bit, they're having a little bit of a difficult time trying to imagine Elliot Page as Achilles, and this is why we're reimagining. Again, emphasis on reimagining. You're like, there's no way, looking at its physique, her physique, its physique. There's no way she could be like there's no way people are gonna look at her and be like, I want to pee like him, her. I want to pee like it, and I want it to pee on me. You know the saying. But we are again reimagining. Okay, you're like, there's no way Elliot Page is going to be able to fight, gorillas of, fucking Roman Greco gorillas, Agamemnon, Agabena, that guy? Fucking, there's no way Elliot Page's character is going to be able to fight Agabega. There's no way he's going to be able to do that. We're reimagining, and it's time. It's coming out in July, if I'm not mistaken. You don't know that Achilles, were he to be a tranny, and who knows, might have been, could have caught his enemies, in circumstances where they might have, again, despite the fact that they're fighting a tranny who's like, 2 foot 4 inches tall, weighing 4 ounces, 2 stones and 4 ounces. If that Achilles caught the enemy, in this particular case, let's say Agamemnon. Let's say Agamemnon had food poisoning, dog. You didn't hear about that in the Odyssey, did you? This time it's going to be, most of the focus of the story is going to be on the food poisoning that impacted, Agabegba. And Agagaga goes into battle fighting Achilles, despite the fact that it's a tranny, 1 foot, 11-inch tall tranny fighting Agabega. It's going to be, again, because Agamemnon has the food poisoning. He's gonna have the runs, and despite the fact that this tranny fighter Achilles is small, the food poisoning will assist it in fighting Agamemnon. All right, so there you go. That's reimagined. We don't know. Might have been a case of food poisoning that assisted Achilles. Some aspects of the stories are going to be changed, of course. I'm assuming, if we're going with a tranny Achilles. It's not going to be his Achilles heel. It'll be his Achilles penis or Achilles cock. His mother dipped him, holding him from his cock or genitalia, and that's his weakest body part. His genitalia or its genitalia doesn't have one. Does not have one. It's nothing. It's not a bump or a hole. What is it? Who knows? Who knows? But we're reimagining, all right? The enemy, like Agamemnon, could have had a bad night's sleep, goes into battle, doesn't matter, all right? Doesn't matter that Achilles is a tranny, 2 feet tall tranny weighing 19 pounds. Doesn't matter. If Agamemnon had a bad night's sleep, those sandals back in the you had to be walking around in sandals, the pebbles, the rocks, Jesus. Catch a bad pebble between your toes, that, and you can fucking, you play to your strengths. If I'm tranny Achilles, I'm spreading pebbles all around the campsite. So Agamemnon goes and steps on the pebbles, has a difficult time walking the next few days. Bad night's sleep coupled with food poisoning. That's basically a W right there in the field. So we're reimagining. And again, don't judge it till you see it. We don't even know if it's going to be Elliot Page as Achilles. But if it is, it's going to be a little bit hard, but we're reimagining together. And the same story, Odyssey apparently is again in the casting. The casting's got a lot of, it's good for the movie though. I guess people are talking about, which is nice. You always want people talking about the movies, which is difficult these days. You got to give it up to, at least that's positive in some sense. Helen of Troy. Again, Greek mythology, a Greco character, Greek mythology, emphasis on Greek. Being recasted this time will be played by Lupita Nyong'o, Lupita Nyong'o is going to be playing Helen of Troy, and again, people are having a little bit of a difficult time because she happens to be, Helen is vanilla, historically speaking. Again, it is mythology, but still based on a people, right? So Helen's tits, this is where people are having a difficult time. Helen's titties were milky white-ish, at least. Not like, it was vanilla. You could say that, a shade of vanilla. Beautiful, tasty vanilla tits. And that caused, so tasty, in fact, so tasty that it caused a 10-year Trojan War. And that's when the Trojans started manufacturing condoms and fucking flinging it at people. And that took 10 years. And look how well that company's done ever since. Practically, you want a brand name condom, you go with Trojan, a name you can trust. Who got it started? Vanilla titties back in, so it goes back thousands of years. It might even predate. I'm impressed by companies that last a long time. Coke, say what you will, doesn't matter. Pepsi, say what you will. Disney, say what you will, doesn't matter. Fan, longevity, shows the pudding has some stuff in it, pull it out, it's the proof. Or eat it. It might be hair. It might be pubic hair from someone's genitalia. Who knows? But something's in the pudding, and longevity is key. What am I even trying to say? I'm trying to say that vanilla tits got the people going back in the day, and it caused a 10-year Paris. This guy fell in love with vanilla tits, and did a little eloping. Somebody finds out, hashtag Agamemnon, Achilles is fighting Agamemnon. While, fucking his whores in the tent, which was tight as well. So all that to say, this time again, we're reimagining. It's going to be played by a beautiful, delicious, beautiful, this time it's going to be chocolate pudding. This time it's going to be chocolate pudding, all right? Chocolate pudding tits, beautiful chocolate titties. And people are like, I don't know if it would have, I don't know if I can imagine the story that way. Clearly it's Greco mythology. It's supposed to be, vanilla tits. Or something at least close to it. But I had to ask myself, is it even about the color of the tits? This is the defining question. If this story can still hold true to some degree, can any color tit cause a 10-year war or cause a war? And I said to myself, remove the color of the tit. Remove the color of the tit by itself. Color aside, quality-wise, can any tit start a war? That's the question you should be answering inside. And I sat and meditated on this. And by that, I mean, I went to town I had my way with myself. Let's just put it that way. You know what I'm talking about? Yerkin. The point is, remove the color of the titty. Ask yourself, thousands of years ago, could any colored titty start a war? And again, goes back to quality. If it's a good quality tit, I'm going to go out on the limb and say yes. Yes, it could start a war, a 10-year Trojan War. If it was, if it was a yellow tit or like a tan tit, it could have. It's not so much the color of the tits, because again, as a man who has, a tit connoisseur, I like to, tasted, a variety of titty, and all of them. Isolate the tit by itself. I've never had a bad tit. Never had a bad tit. The titty by itself, isolate it by itself, subjectify it, isolate it, objectify it, make it into an object. Could a titty by itself, singularly, start a war, or be a good enough? Yes, it could. Now, bring in find a really bad titty, and I dare you, try to find a bad titty out there. Could that start a war? And that's where it doesn't even matter what color the titty is. If it's poor quality titty, it will not start a war. So moving forward, what I'm hoping to see is, in this movie that we're going to be hopefully watching in the next couple of months, a little bit of food poisoning going on with Agamemnon in the camp and Paris in them, if whoever's in that movie. And also, I want to see good quality titties. Doesn't matter if it's vanilla flavored titties or chocolate milk producing titties. As long as they're good titties, I can still, buy into the titties being a cause of the war, of the condom, the 10-year long condom wars of Greco mythology. That one. So there you have it, reimagining together. Okay, so good. I hope that calms people down a little bit, assists you in dealing with this. And if it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, again, it shouldn't be the color of the tit. It's the quality. It's the areola to titty ratio. And again, good luck finding a bad one by itself. I've never seen, in my lifetime, find one bad tit. I dare you. Of course, people are, again, as I said, we might be talking about reimagining things and shedding our selfish ways. And this one just, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a trip to North Carolina together. And these, as a group of apparently teenage mean girls in their high school, these whores, sluts, are being selfish because there's a tranny high school student who wants to go into the bathroom and into the locker room and be creepy. And these whores are completely selfish because all of a sudden they're feeling uncomfortable because of this one tranny student who wants to go into the locker room and take a peep and maybe jerk off by the rest of the high school female populace in the bathroom and her locker room. All right, they're apparently uncomfortable. All right, how many of them are there? Many. How many of this tranny students is in that locker room? Just one. Oh, these little mean girls can't put aside their selfish desires for safety and privacy and having, women's space. They can't put that aside and say that, hey, we're gonna be okay with this one, pervy, creepy tranny kid in our locker room. So what if you want, he's just doing his thing on the side, just, yerking in the shower, looking at the other, teenage female students in the locker room and change room there. And people are just like, the parents too, God damn it, fucking selfish. They're like, oh, we want a safe space for our daughters when they're going to school. And again, isolating this one person who just wants to go and just fucking stare at a couple of pussies right there, within, and he's being robbed. He's being robbed of this, experience, because apparently it's making some of the students uncomfortable. So please, let us come together and say that it's not good to be selfish, mean girls, all right, and mean parents that raise mean girls. And yeah, if this kid wants to go in the shower or the locker room or the bathroom and maybe just get a hard on and kind of beat off to the girls, and they're in the same high school, all right, they're just friends being friends. Yes, one of them may jizz on the other ones. Most likely there'll probably be only one that'll probably jizz on the other ones, but that doesn't mean that you need to be all like, oh, my girl's safety and women's spaces and all that. So please, reimagining and working on our selfish ways, putting it aside, please. Another high school student, tranny one, this one is in California, kicked all the girls' asses in the track and field division, just like fucking wiped them clean. Because that's the way it is. That's the way it is. And all of a sudden you get these, mean girls, just mean girls crying and bitching about it. Oh, we won't have a chance at our sport. This is just, extremely selfish. Please raise better children. Okay? If this tranny is gonna beat all these chicks, they should, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes, all right? Men rule, and trannies are basically, still male, but but that doesn't matter, all right? Men rule, women come in second places in sports, and that's the way it goes. And it's a beautiful loophole. Please quit being a Debbie Downer and wanting to get rid of, and you're like, even the Olympics got rid of that. Even the Olympics said no to trannies in women's sport. But that, again, yes, exactly my point. Exactly. Thank you for saying it. There's not too many places that trannies can go and beat women, and it's difficult. High school sports apparently still sometimes is one of those spaces. So please quit being selfish. All right. Tell your young female daughters and relatives to try harder. They're probably not going to still win. Doesn't mean they can't try harder, okay? Yeah, doesn't mean they're going to probably lose a scholarship or two. Yeah. Is that going to, impact their life trajectory? Maybe, yeah. Maybe they've gotten a scholarship, went to university, went to college, went to medical school or something that'll still matter in a few years, and became a successful whatever, but now guess what? No scholarship. Now they're gonna be, fucking depressed for a summer, sitting at home, maybe getting a job, maybe not getting a job, maybe getting a job, finding some bad friends at some, the local shop that sells bad stuff, and they're gonna be doing bad stuff in the fridge of that bad store goods selling, that store that sells bad goods. They're gonna be doing drugs in the fridge of that store. And your kid's she's gonna turn out to be a whore. She's selling her cooch on the streets right now, because guess what? She lost that opportunity to go to university and pursue a degree in something, and maybe go to a couple of parties too, and have a couple of keg stands and just drink a lot and get good grades too at the same time. Again, different life trajectory. Nonetheless, here we are. So quit being selfish, please. Again, who else was selfish? Maya Bailey's parents were selfish. That's right. Another tranny. Is tranny heavy week. We've had a tranny heavy week this week. Again, tranny man wanted to transition. Parents were kind of on board, off board, hesitant, didn't know what to do. Being selfish is what they were doing. They said, we're going to fund your transition surgery. They might have pulled out sometime in the middle of it, or, didn't support it fully. They were confused themselves. I think the mother at one point called the doctor and said, call it off. I think my son is schizo. And I don't know, man. I don't know. Acting selfish ends up getting you shot. And that's exactly what happened to Maya Bailey's parents. They ended up getting shot and killed. Because why? Selfish. All right? Thinking about themselves and not their tranny kid. All right? It's one of those things. There's not too many fast tracks to life. Tranny happens to be one of them for the time being. We don't know how long this is going to last, but for the time being, tranny gets you a fast pass through life. All right? In Scotland, a non-citizen just became a parliament member in the Green Party. Once again, tranny, fast tracking to life against just a tiny little loophole. Can people quit being so selfish and realize tranny first, please? For the love of God. Oh, that's a good crack. That's a good solid crack. What are we even talking about, ladies and gentlemen? Trannies, that's right. A little bit of tranny news, a little bit of reimagining. I believe this is what they found out with young mice poop. This is what they found out. And I'm not quite sure how this is going to go, to be honest with you, but researchers looked into young mice and their poop, and they took the young mice and their poop and they placed it inside the rectums, or at least the innards of older mice, and they found out that apparently young mice poop helps reverse age-related health issues in older mice, which is, I don't know who starts these researches. I don't know who's just sitting and thinking like, we need to research something. What are we gonna research? Maybe fighting cancer. Maybe, I don't know, fucking, building, how to, make a pill that gives you like, just you eat food and it turns into muscles. That pill, let's work on that. But these are, I guess these are not, interesting enough. So somebody said, no, we need to focus on the mice fecal matter and see if that does anything, if we play around with it. And they did. They played with the fecal matter of the mice. They rubbed it in the intestines of the older mice, and all of a sudden these old blind mice started regaining their vision. Signs of depression in the older mice started to evaporate. The old mice were like, fucking going to opium dens and being blind and being extremely depressed and picking up drinking and gambling and calling hookers at all the odd hours of the night and ending up owing thousands and thousands of, maybe even $500,000 to the mob. But guess what? A little bit of young fecal from the young mice in their intestines apparently reversed all these symptoms, and it just, helped them not age as quick, or at least avoid some of the diseases that come with aging. Extrapolate why we've been talking about mice poop. Glad you asked. Because if we can extrapolate as say that the young mice poop can help get rid of diseases in older mice, what can young mice poop do for us? What can you ask? Not what you can do for mice fecal matter. Ask what fecal matter of the young mice can do for you. You remember that one? That was a good saying. That was a solid saying. That was one of the top 10 fecal sayings of all time. Nonetheless, we're not quite sure because we haven't done the research on people yet, but I'm beginning to see that there's some parallels. If it worked on mice, we need to grab the fecal matter of the young mice and put it in our intestines to, rehab our stomach lining and get better stem cells in our stomach lining. I think that's because your gut biome is extremely important to your health. That's what they're saying. So extrapolate from this. Take the young mice, get them to ooze out some poop, rub it in, eat it, ingest it, or rub it. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be mice poop for us. Maybe the parallel would be that young human poop. And it always ends with this. It starts with this and ends with this. You'll see. It's either consumption of human blood or fecal matter at one point, isn't it? I think this study is probably fucking funded by the Illuminati in some sense. You could say that. I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you. But if we extrapolate, you could see that extracting young poop from humans, probably put inside older human stomach lining, would maybe help and assist with age-related health issues. Fast forward 5 years from now, we're teaming up with a laboratory and a pharmaceutical company. We are creating young fecal matter from, don't ask where and how we're gonna get it, but we're gonna get it, all right? This is brought to you by the same people that brought you friggin' baby blood. We're gonna get the fecal matter from the babies, all right? We're gonna bottle them up or put them in pills. I'm not quite sure which way is gonna be more feasible. We're gonna sell it to the people. And you're gonna be eating young poop. That's gonna be the next thing that's helping you not die. So you're welcome out there. Okay, same folks that brought you adrenochrome. Baby fecal. Don't you wanna live longer? Baby fecal. I don't know what we're gonna do with these. I don't know where we're gonna get the babies, to be honest with you. It's probably gonna be overseas, I'm telling you right now, because I'm not paying full price for full babies in North America with these prices, the gasoline price alone. So we're gonna probably, it's gonna be one of those conversations that's gonna be had overseas somewhere. I don't know where we're gonna get them, but we're gonna get them nonetheless. So rest assured, to conclude, moral of the story, fucking either start, if you have a baby, lick the diapers. That's the best way that you could actually consume it for a time until I patent it and make it illegal for you to consume your own baby's poo. It's gonna be illegal. You're gonna be put in jail for doing that shit. But I'll sell it for a lot of money, and I'll make you younger. Apparently, Emmanuel Macron was just in somewhere in Africa, I think in Nairobi. He's watching a person give a speech, or he was about to give a speech himself, or he was part of a panel that were giving. It's called it's the France Africa Summit, doing submissions and shit. It's a person talking, and the group is chatting amongst one another, and it's making a little bit of a disturbance. So he goes off and say, let me, if you may, I'm French, I'm President Macron. If you may look at someone talking, you don't need to interrupt when someone is talking. It's not so nice when you're talking and you're talking on the stage. S'il vous plaît, let's talk more looky. No talking. He says that to the people, and I'm like, man, that's not even his. Maybe just let the speakers kind of like, take control of the room and just do it. But and I let that go. I'm like, no big deal, whatever. Weird, whatever, no big deal. And the next thing you know, ladies and gentlemen, we find out together, we discovered apparently there's a book or an article, I think it's a book that just came out. I don't know the name of the book, but apparently it goes back. It discusses the Macron-Brigitte situation that happened on an airplane where Brigitte Macron, the tranny wife of tranny maybe, groomer probably, pedo most likely in some sense, at least allegedly, who knows? The slap, I'm talking about the slap that happened on the plane. Apparently we found the cause of the said slap. Allegedly, apparently it's due to heated texts being exchanged between President of France, Emmanuel Macron, and an actress. Apparently that's the slap. We found out what it was about. Finally, some justice. Or I don't know if that's justice or anything, but it's something. It's finally some clarity. God damn. Oh, finally some disclosure. And this one's better. This one's better than the disclosure that we recently got. The fucking, midgets. Midgets are aliens. That's what they're telling us. And I've said that from the beginning. Aliens are midgets. They found a 4-foot tall midget apparently coming out of a spaceship. I've said that midgets are aliens. They look just like us, kind of similar yet different, but they're magical nonetheless. Both have your eyes out on midgets. That's what I said. Keep it tight. Leash on them, have your eyes on them, let them have fun, let them loose, pretend like we don't know they're there, but keep an eye on them. Nonetheless, this is way better than that disclosure. Oh, we got a star-shaped, star-shaped thing that's floating, and this is disclosure. Nah, I think the fucking finding out the cause of the slap is probably more of a disclosure than what we got, but hopefully it's just one step amongst many that will give us more disclosure. Disclose these nuts, you know what I'm talking about. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, fucking, it's that's what it is. It's what it is. Allegedly, Macron was fucking being, he's being his French self. Oh, I like to get in your panties. Would you like to suck on my croissant, Look, we're drinking wine and we are walking on the Champs-Élysées. I'm French and you're an actress. My wife is a cack. I want to get with the President Macron of France. I may be stepping away from the presidentials sometime soon. Maybe we could get a little, would you like to look at these muffins and suck on these croissants? Mon ami, oui. And that's, for those of you who didn't understand that portion of the program, I apologize for nothing. We speak different languages sometimes. For performance and accuracy, okay? I'm not gonna fucking water it down and give you subtitles of what I just said, all right? Fucking French shit right there. Voulez-vous accoucher les mains de la bonbon? We're so French. La vive la France, yeah. My wife has a baguette. I like to eat the pastries. I use les bonbons. French shit. That's some French shit right there, dog. Donald Trump, beautiful. just took a trip to China to meet with President Xi Jinping of China for talks between the US and China. One thing I'm a little bit disappointed, I'll say this, I wish, because there's, again, many different stories interconnected with one another. I'm glad, obviously, we're doing the meetings. These are good. These are fantastic. But I wish there was some aspects of the, past that we could have brought along with us. What are you talking about is what you're saying, and I'll explain to you in a second. Because recently, we just found out there's a Southern California mayor, Eileen Wang, who happens to be some sort of, I think she's a CCP agent. And she stepped down, or we made her step down. You stepped down, bitch. You stepped down. We found out she works for the CCP. Apparently she's a Southern California mayor, but also, fucking spreading like Chinese propaganda and shit in Southern California. And I don't know the exact region, but SoCal is the region. But she stepped down, or we kicked her off, or whatever. And again, I wish there was some aspect of 14th, maybe 13th century, demeanor in the way we dealt with, because if it was the 13th century, the 14th century, or some old shit, right now, Trumpeasy would be taking that same trip to China, but he grabbed this bitch, Eileen Wang, by the hair, and this is, again, we're reimagining, because it'd be kind of dope to have it. Maybe he did this, low-key, if anybody would do this, it would be Trumpeasy right now in 2026. Grab her by the hair, because she's a spy, essentially, she's like a spy, propagandist, motherfucker. Fucking grab her by the hair, you bring her down to Chi, and here's your whore. We found that she's been actually working for you all this time. Spreading the propagandas. Not cool, Chi, but nonetheless, great to see you, bud. Ha! You know what I mean? Fucking chuck a bitch. Because, it's behind enemy lines. All that type shit. You capture her, she got got. You capture a bitch, take her to the source, and be like, we're not too pleased with the amount of, the usage of chopsticks has been on their eyes recently. We're not too happy about this, but nonetheless, let's get to talking. Here's your whore. She wasn't that good. I'll tell you what, she was not that good. We've seen better. There's better. No, but the talks are good. The talks are good. We talked about, I think, President Trump and Xi talked about the conflict with the war and with the Iran. I think that they're going to be helping. We don't know that we need their help, but if we need them, I think they said that we're going to be helping. So that's good. In terms of trade's going to be, they're going to be buying 200 Boeing jets from us, and oil too, and opening up their borders for businesses. And in return, we're going to be doing business. And friggin' Taiwan, we keep things loose with Taiwan, all right? We don't talk about it and keep it loose. And it's honestly, personal opinion, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. If it means for the world to move around a little bit smoother, and if it's right there, when the topic comes up, you fucking have some food. When there's so many things to talk about. Yeah. So you're gonna buy some chips. We're gonna sell them chips. Not our best chips, of course. We keep the best chips for the chippity chip chips. So you gotta have some chips. You gotta dip the chip to eat it. You gotta dip the chip to eat the chip. Dip. You gotta eat it, dip it, chip it. So all in all, the trip was good. President Trump was given a lot of respect, and we appreciate that from our Chinese friends over there in China. They had a whole bunch of kids singing traditional Chinese songs for President Trump. Ching chong ching 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 chong pong pong ching chong chong ching 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 chong chong ching ching chong ching chong ching cha ching ching sa sing ching 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 chong ching ching. And that I will translate for you, because Chinese is much more difficult to learn than, let's say, French. My heart's not made of fucking ice, so I do, I'll translate that. The words basically, it's difficult to, there's not an exact translation, but it's basically, oh great leader, thank you for coming and visiting our beautiful land. We hope you've been watching Glad You Made It just like all of us have. Over here, oh great leader, ching ching, pong pong, glad you made it. And that's what the song says, and that's what they opened up with. They were kids, they performed well, it was a hoot. You should have been there, didn't get a chance to go. Sucks for you then, doesn't it? Russian ship was just sunk, not recently, but like some time ago, maybe about, a few months ago, about a year or so ago. And they said it was mysteriously sunk, but like somewhat mysterious. I'm not quite sure what we mean by mysterious, but mysterious in the sense that apparently it was on its way from Russia to North Korea, and it was carrying nuclear submarine reactors. And somewhere near Spain, southeast near Spain, near the coast of Spain, somewhere near Spain, near the Mediterranean, Spain, somewhere in there, sank mysteriously, got torpedoed. Like, we know how apparently it got, but we don't know who torpedoed it. And it could have been anyone, almost anyone. It could have been Russia, but it was a Russian vessel, you said again. But that's, again, apparently based on the size of the torpedo, because, first responders got there via helicopter and like aided, I think there was like 16 or 14 crew members on board. They saved like 14, two people died. It was like 14 to 16 people. A couple of them died. They rescued the other ones. As the ship was sinking, they saw the hole on the side of the ship and they decided that was a specific missile or torpedo that's only possessed by a few countries. Russia, the US, a couple of, UN countries, not UN countries, a couple of EU countries, and maybe Iran. So, at least we narrow down the option. We know, so it's not like out of the 198 countries, it's, maybe like 10 of them that could have done this probably, because not all countries have access to that torpedo. So let's find out who has this torpedo, dog, and who's launched it. But the ship has sunk, allegedly. The ship has sunk, supposed to, again, deliver the nuclear submarine reactors to North Korea, and it's at the bottom of the sea right now somewhere. And they haven't discovered it or found it yet. It's just, basically, we just got loose nuclear submarine reactors somewhere and again, allegedly it's not been recovered. Allegedly it's too deep now. Allegedly, Spanish first responders, sailors, the seamen of Spanish seamen, not talking about jism, all right? Spanish sailors, seamen went to the scene. They, did a brief rescue mission, got the folks, the ship sank, Russian troops, seamen jizz showed up after. And I don't know what happened to the reactors. I don't know. Was it only reactors? Was it other material? Nuclear or not? Who sunk the battleship? Is there going to be any sort of if it's got nuclear, will it ooze nuclear stuff into the water? So it's not that big of a quantity, doesn't matter. All right, fair enough. Don't care. All I'm saying, we should probably recover it, no? No, because anybody, what if somebody gets it? What if somebody we don't want them to get? What if somebody gets it? What if what if somebody that we don't like gets it, dog? Fucking let's go. Let's get it. A beautiful hiker, a beautiful hot hiker, got a little bit of flack, and this hurts. Just because I love the beautiful bitches out there, always standing firm for hot female bitches. Always hard for hot female bitches. That's one of the pillars of this podcast. Always hard for hot female bitches. She got flack because apparently she went to Argentina, and she videoed herself, as people do these days, playing with a mouse in Argentina. She uploaded the video, and all of a sudden people are like, "Oh, look at this hot bitch playing with the mouse. Don't you know you're in a hotspot for hantavirus?" and coming down on our harsh, dude. Coming down on our harsh. And it's disgusting to see a beautiful female get this sort of flack. As it turns out, apparently, first of all, there's many things that I just want to clarify. Apparently the video was taken from a year ago. So she was in Argentina a year ago playing with that mouse. All right? And it says she was in an alleged hantavirus hotspot. We just legitimately heard about hantavirus like 2 seconds ago. They quit making a thing out of this thing that's nothing, dog. Argentina's hantavirus hotspot. I've never heard of this shit. Hantavirus hotspot in Argentina. So people were like, "Oh, don't you know you shouldn't be playing with animals in the wild?" Hot bitches, rule number 150. Hot bitches can play with whatever they want to play with, all right? You disgusting pigs, whoever's coming after this hot chick, leave her be. And I don't know how old she is. She looked of age. If you're of age, hot chick playing with animal. If you're not, if you happen to be younger, then you're disgusting. You're disgusting. You're a pig. And your parents should know better to let you out of the house, but nonetheless, just got me. I got very emotional. I saw this. I'm like, people should be able to, as long as you're not hurting the animal, I think you should go out and like, fucking, if you want to rub your clit on an elephant trunk, you know what I mean? You paid for that safari, baby. You fucking get your money's worth. If you want to ride an antelope, titties flying all over the place, you should be able to do that. If you want to go to Russia and pay somebody to wrestle a mid-sized bear or a large-sized bear, because why not? The mid-size, you probably could take a mid-sized bear, but if you want to travel to Russia and pay a villager to wrestle their, local bear, you should be able to do that. As long as you don't hurt the animal. I don't care for your safety. I don't care. If you want to get stung by jellyfish, get stung by jellyfish. That's your God-given right. All right? So please, lay off this hot chick. It's from a year ago. There is no hantavirus hotspot. And the Argentinians are cool. Never been, but I'd like to visit. She wants to play with mice. Maybe she heard about the mice fecal matter, dog. Ever think about that? Maybe she's just fucking, trying to look out for her anti-aging routine from an early stage. Maybe she doesn't want to turn into a prune like like Bridget Macron. Like maybe she doesn't want to grow a dick like that tranny Bridget Macron. All right, and she's getting fresh Argentinian, mouse fecal matter. Good for her. I've been hearing a lot about data centers. We've all sort of heard a lot. I don't know what it means, to be honest with you. I know that, yes, data center holds a lot of data. The center where the data goes, the data center, we're building the data centers. I thought this thing was all in the cloud. What was this? The good thing was it didn't take up space. It was in the cloud was supposed to be up there in the somewhere. And where is it? It's in the cloud. Where is it stored? It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud. Apparently the cloud takes up space. Apparently it's not cloud. Apparently it should just be called land. It's in the land. Apparently we're building the world's largest data center in Utah. It's 2 times the size of Manhattan, and it sucks up a ton of water and electricity. And I don't know how to feel about it, but I think we need them. I think we need them, because we need them, right? Because other places are building them, the data centers, to facilitate. The CEO of what is it called? The large CEO of a large company, Brookfield Corporation, Bruce Flatt, the CEO of that company, said that we're rewiring the economy of the future. Think of this as the rewiring of the economy of the future. We're going to be pumping trillions of dollars, tens of trillions of dollars into data centers. We're taking up a lot of room, and yeah. So fucking a couple of animals are probably going to get hurt in the midst of all this. All right, we're probably going to have to bulldoze a couple of it's twice the size of Manhattan. This one, it's not the only one. We got to compete with like China, and other people who may want to get involved, but mostly China. Despite the fact that we had these great talks, despite the fact that we just took their CCP spy whore and tossed her on her hands and feet in front of Xi Jinping and said, "That belongs to you. That belongs to you." We need to build these data centers, I think, because we're all dependent on the data centers. I think. I don't know, to be honest. Could we build them somewhere else? Let's build them somewhere else. Let's, maybe the moon. Maybe that's not such a bad idea to build the moon. But apparently it takes up a lot of water and electricity. Fucking, quit drinking so much water, because we might need something to give that. Does it take salt water? Better not come for the desalinated water, dog. If it comes for that shit, because apparently, again, I'm just saying, I think we need them, so I'm not quite sure how to feel about them. I think we need them. We need all the data to be up there. As a man who's embedded with technology, who's 69s with technology, one of the most 69 persons with technology, I'm talking about myself right now. I can't, be on the lines and be like, no, we don't need the data. We need the data centers, because your boy's out there fucking putting out videos and the data's up there. So we need them. We need the, hopefully they're the animals that do get killed. Hopefully they're like the fucking, murderers and rapist animals out there, so that we could feel better about it. Maybe a couple of them that had like, maybe just, like the ones that are like, plagued with rabies and, those ones. Let's get rid of those ones. Trees, we could always plant more trees. The water, again, if you're old, quit drinking so much water. If you're young, you too, quit it. Quit drinking so much water. In terms of electricity, we'll get it. We'll get it somewhere, somehow. We're gonna get it. I'll say this. You're looking at us right now because you're like, this is great. We're investing in the economy of the future. What about the economy right now? It's kind of it's difficult for a lot of people out there. What about the economy right now? You concentrate on the economy of the future. Turn your children into data centers. There you go. Give birth to a data center. All right. If your kid is equipped with the right structure, we build the babies correctly. They come out self-sustaining, data-producing data centers that drink their own piss and convert it into electricity and store the data. Turn into, they say you are what you eat. And again, it goes back to the fetal stage. Apparently they say that they looked into it. Children form their dietary tastes when their fetus is in their mother's womb. They did a test. They took capsules. They filled them up with carrot powder and kale powder and give it to babies. And apparently they gave it to the mothers. And the mothers who ingested the kale pills and the carrot pills had the babies. And then they gave the babies carrots and kales, or at least carrots and kale flavored foods. And the babies who were exposed to the kale and carrot flavored pills, when they were in the womb as fetuses, they happened to go for whichever pill they were given to as babies, or at least the pill that was given to their mothers. So exposure therapy is sort of like starting young. You give pills to the mother who eats the carrot pills. The baby's gonna like carrots. So getting the kid to eat the vegetables apparently starts from the womb. I learned this and said, what else could we do? We could teach the kid, again, take a bite out of a data center. Your kid gets a taste of data centers. They don't come out all confused as to what am I gonna do when I graduate from high school? Data center, baby, data center, all right? You're like, what about the arts? Let's never forget the arts. Glad you said that. I myself have been shoving. I grabbed a grand piano and I shoved it down. I saw a couple of mothers and I said, they weren't even my kids, but I care about the community. I started to shove these grand pianos inside the puss of the mothers. And I said, you expose the children to the arts and the finer things in life at an early stage. Fetuses getting exposed to grand pianos. I'm not saying they're going to be, fucking Beethoven or, Michelangelo, but like, exposure therapy. Give to them what they're going to need in the future, whether it's getting them to eat the vegetables, learning a musical instrument, not so, it's not just, put a couple of headphones on your wife's belly. It's not going to cut it anymore. We're getting new information because all the data getting centered in the data center. So we're learning, extrapolating, putting it all together. You're going to have to go in there. You have to go in there. If you want your kid to be able to play the trumpet, take the trumpet with you, climb inside your wife's vagina, and fucking start blowing that horn. And the baby will become a trumpet player, trumpeteer. All right? That's what you want them to learn math? Get in there early. Pen, paper, subtract, divide inside the womb. You want them to become an athlete? Get in there. Put on the hockey gloves and the skates and the shoulder pads and the football helmet and the UFC gloves and the soccer shin pads. Get whichever sport you happen to like. And you're like, I want to turn him into a superstar of an athlete. Get inside. It starts with the fetus. And again, when it comes to data centers, take a couple of chips. Take a little bit of the cloud inside the puss with you, so the baby comes out. Knows what's up. He's not all crying, oh, I don't know what to do about the cloud, mama. That dumb baby's going to be retarded and not going to get anywhere. Take a little bit of the cloud in the puss, baby's going to come out and be like, yeah, I get AI. I'm fucking down with this shit. I get it. Take a little bit of AI, put it in the puss. Baby AI, data center issue, resolved. All right? Don't give any water to the baby. Get them used to drinking less water so they're not so water dependent or hydration dependent in general. No liquids for the baby. How about that? Train them to be tough without the need of liquid goods. There you go. You're like, what about electricity? Keep your babies in the dark. Keep the babies in the dark. If there's need for the electricity to go to the data centers for the future of the economy and the next economy, and then so be it. I want you to consume with like today's economy, because keep your eye on the future. I really like this one because I can't personally get one myself right now, but I want other people to engage. This is something, yes, we're going to be, again, we went to China, we got the trade deals are happening, it's trades are good, relations are tight, CCP spy returned, Taiwan left alone, whatever, we don't care. If need, or maybe we might, who knows, doesn't matter. The point is, we got something cool from China as well. Unitree. Unitree is a $650,000 manned, transformable, they call it a mecha, or a mecha, M-E-C-H-A, mecha. I'm guessing it's like short for like machine or like mechanical or something. It's manned, transformable mecha. Doesn't matter. You climb inside of this thing. It's like 3 meters, almost 3 meters long. It's like a giant skeleton robot suit that you climb in the middle of it and you control it, and you can it's in the name, it's transformable, meaning it transforms, and you can turn into like a giant robot yourself and like fucking smash things, climb over things, throw things, receive things. 650 G's, dude. I don't know, I can't get it right now myself, but if you got the dollar bills, y'all, fucking get it and let's fuck some shit up. And by that I mean let's have a good time. I want these things fighting, people inside of them. Lock yourselves inside these things. This should be in the next, evolution of MMA/humans now merging with machines to fight. Because it can, it does everything. It turns into like a tarantula. It can go bipedal. It can go on all fours, like fucking, it could doggy style, all of it. It could right there. You know what I'm talking about? A little bit of. It could do French stuff too, the stuff that Emmanuel Macron wants to do with that actress. You know what I'm talking about? Get a little bit of this, le bonbon, because we are French. Mon ami, it's just sexual activities, like the French do. The point is, get one, have some fun, climb some buildings. All right, take down some terrorists, do some good with it. Take down some terrorists. Deliver your own baby. Don't be like one of these fucking faggots that has to my wife's pregnant, I gotta go to the emergency room. Get one of these suits and it's just loom over your wife and kind of just like demand the baby to be delivered, and then catch it with your giant robot mecha hands. All right, and ease your baby into the new world and prepare it for the new economy of the future. Okay, and feed it data centers and the cloud while you deliver it into the world. So it's fun. It's gonna be great. Honestly, I don't like the terrorists aren't gonna be able to do anything once we get our hands on these, or once we make our own. We'll do a trade. We will give you, because I believe the Trump phone is out too. We will give you Trump phones for the transferable mechas. We'll do a trade. That's what the trade is good for. And if we don't want those, we'll just build our own. And then we'll fight the terrorists with those. Fuck yeah, dude. We're gonna fucking crush these goddamn terrorists. We're gonna take over this poppy fields, and we're gonna be smoking inside them too, because like it's good ventilation. It's not all like it's not so confined. It's not like it's not, you're not walled in. You can still smoke in there. You can still smoke. So fucking the opium wars. We're gonna be controlling those fields, dog, with these giant mechas. That's my mecha right there. That's my mecha right there. All right, mecha. That's my mecha. That's my mecha out there. Holding it down, doing mecha shit. I was reading and I saw a little video of the Roma children in Hungary making a historical first. They went to the Hungarian parliament, Roma kids. I'm talking about Roma children. These are gypsies, friggin' gypsies, gypsy kids. Went to the parliament in Hungary for the first time, and they sang a Roma song, gypsy. They sang a gypsy song for the first time. It was a historical first in the parliament in Hungary, and it's great. It was a historical first. They sang the song, and all, when this was all going down, apparently, while it was going down, some of the parliament members reported, allegedly, I don't know, that they are gypsy kids after all. They reported missing wallets, missing chains, missing necklaces, missing jewelry, wallets, purses, cell phones too. All during the time that these gypsy kids were singing their gypsy songs. Well, we don't know how it happened. We don't know how it happened. Gypsy kids showed up, sang a song, people started losing their possessions. Who knows what happened, allegedly. Of course, there was more to it. They did bring, they played, street games, the cup game. They played the cup game, find the ball between the cups. Which cup has got the ball? Find the cup. Next thing you know, singing a song, gypsy song, wallet's missing. Oh no, what happened to my wallet? To find the ball inside the cup. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. There was also allegedly a couple of trained monkeys who assisted with the singing and grabbing of the phones and the wallets and the cash and the jewelry, allegedly. But everybody had a good time. All in all, everybody had a good time. A couple of them were wielding knives and boxing each other while playing the violin. Traditional gypsy children singing for the first time in the Hungarian parliament, of course. A few parliament members were reportedly telling us that they went home and their homes were burnt down. They were burnt down. They had markings on their homes and they were burnt down. I believe it's said to be a gypsy hex that the gypsy children placed on some of the parliament members. We're looking deeper into it, of course. These are all allegedly happening, and we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll get to the bottom of it, gypsy kids. All right, the song was good, though. The song was good. I'll give them that. The song was good. What you're supposed to do to protect yourself now is to piss all around your house, and if you have a female member who's on her menstruation cycle right now, grab her blood, spill that around your house too. Light a candle at midnight, blow it out. 6 a.m, do this for 3 days and the hex will be removed. Goddamn gypsy kids. No, we love them. We love them, of course. A man was recently just kicked off a plane for masturbating all the way from Colombia to Spain. I'm actually not quite sure if he was masturbating all the way from Colombia to Spain, but he was kicked off for masturbating on a plane. He was going from Colombia to Spain. That would be actually quite impressive if he masturbated all the way from Colombia to Spain. I don't know if he got to finish. We don't know. We don't know if the man who got kicked off the Colombian plane to Spain, we don't know if he finished. We surely didn't give him a chance, did we not? Put him back on the plane. That's what I say. Put him back on the plane. What if he was going for a record? Everybody's trying to fucking, what happened to, again, quit being selfish and reimagine what it means to have a flight these days. How could you masturbate on a plane? Somebody asked. I'm glad you did. Thank you. I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but it's not Mission Impossible, please. One could always, first and foremost, it's context. It's context. Low key, you get on some planes and you can tell by the vibe of the room that no one's down for masturbating on this plane. So just suss it out. Suss it out, see what your gut tells you. Sometimes you walk on a plane though, you look around and you know what I'm talking about. Cleavage, fucking, button down shirts, just loose. You feel the energy. You walk and you look around and everybody's fine. They're finding common ground by just looking at each other in the eye and saying, is this a flight that we're going to be masturbating on or not? And everybody low-key nods and starts fucking masturbating on this. So if you really just, read the room, read the plane. If everybody's down, do it together. If you happen to be on one of these flights that's not down to masturbate, you can do it in the bathroom. That's one of the easiest places. You could go in there. It's not the most comfortable bathrooms, but you could technically do it in that bathroom. You could go to make a request. I'm not saying that this is even gonna work or not, but make a request. Be like, can I ring that little bell above you? Be like, ring. Can I see the hostess, please? The waitress, the Steward assists. Can I see Stuart, please? And Stuart will come and be like, what's up? What's up? You're like, I'd like to go to the cockpit and join the pilots in a game of masturbating with pilots in the cockpit. And they might do that. They might do that. I'm not guaranteeing you they will, because the cockpit is intended for the pilots, and which is not fair. Which is not fair to have an area designated for CAC, but only put 2 people in there. And you're like, maybe they could use an extra CAC in the cockpit. Probably not going to work. So the bathroom is your best place to masturbate on the plane. Once get a window seat. I say this: get a window seat. Wait till you're midair and almost everybody's like kind of like dozing off. It's been a few hours. Place a jacket or a sweater over your pants, right? Ladies, gentlemen, doesn't matter. And look, you just got to go back to when you were younger. All right, go back to when you were younger and you were like, maybe sharing a room with a sibling and you were trying to jerk off or play with your clit and you didn't want to make a hell of a lot of noise and movement. So fucking, you know what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter. The point is, keep the movements to a minimum. Small stroke. Maybe even just fucking like low key, just grab a book and just shove it on top of your cock where you're, just jam it in your clit and just kind of like, it's got the hard edge. Get the hardcover books. Get the hardcover books for masturbating on the plane. If like, check out who's sitting behind you or beside you. Like if they're cool, like get them to, cover for me, I'll cover for you sort of deal. You know what I mean? You can always work something out when you're a few thousand feet up in the air. People are, you'd be surprised as to how much you could work out, and don't be shy to, help others out as well. If somebody needs a little hand, if somebody's like, older and they can't masturbate for themselves, fucking be a gentleman, be a sister out there, fucking, go to town. And that's how it is. Now this guy, I feel, it's again, people are like, no, we're not gonna have him masturbate all the way from Colombia to Spain. What if he breaks a record? Yeah, what if he could have broken a record? What if? It's like, again, life trajectory changed. Ultimately, he could have been in the Guinness World Book of Records right now, but now he's gonna be in some, he's gonna be trying to tell the other prisoners in jail or something that he's a champion masturbator, but and that he's done nothing wrong. But that's what they all say when they get in. And while the cat is out, the mouse will fecal. When the cat's out to say hey, the mice will play. When the cat goes away, when the cat goes away, the mouse come out to play. The cat right now is. We're talking about Trumpese. He's in the trip. I don't know when he's coming back or not, but apparently the CIA went into Tulsi Gabbard's office and they took stuff. They took information regarding JFK's assassination and MK Ultra. They took all that shit. Apparently some of it was in Tulsi Gabbard's office and they raided it and the CIA, I love the CIA, and it does a lot of things really well. It does a lot of things, and it's like, could we not have a more could we not do this so that it doesn't become so obvious that the CIA went into Tulsi Gabbard's office to grab this said MK Ultra information and the JFK information that we did. And by the way, with all the data centers, put it somewhere. It's got a ton of room. Put it in the data center. But they went in there, apparently grabbed the info that was related to the JFK assassination and the MK Ultra project, and they took off. And my question is, again, they do a lot of great stuff, and you don't know, you never hear about it. How did something happen? And you're like, we don't know. Who could have done? Who done it? It's one of those. It turns into who done it, and then they do some things that is like, we're going in here, we're the CIA, we're going to take these files. Meh. I imagine all CIA officers talk like that. Meh. See, we're going to go in there and get these files. See? And they'll do that, and they did. All I'm saying is, couldn't you just go in there, like pretend like you're a cleaner, you know what I'm talking about, when everybody's gone home, and just burn the office if need be, you know what I mean? Or take the files and piss on it so that it becomes inadmissible in court. I think that I've heard that. So if you piss on files, it becomes inadmissible, or at least really hard to read. You're gonna need some black light. You're gonna have to shine some black light over. I'm not quite sure if it's inadmissible or you're gonna have to use black light to get the info. Don't piss on the files is all I'm saying. Couldn't have been somebody that, you know, wants to maybe distract Tulsi Gabbard, you know, be like, hey, Tulsi Gabbard, come look at these tits, or like whatever she's into, to distract her for a few minutes. When she's out the office, grab the info that's related to the, why do you gotta go in there so blatantly, be like, oh, it's the CIA, see? And we're gonna need these files. And if she had them for so long, what was in them? Did she get a look? Or did she just freshly get her hands on these informations and then they finally found out that she has them? Now they gotta go relocate the files. Are they gonna burn the files? Doesn't make you look less sus, and I love the CIA. Some aspects of it are great, some aspects of it are questionable to say the least, but nonetheless, here's to us, all of us doing the good work. Let's reimagine and quit being selfish together. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace out, get out of here.